Hey, okay. So my name is John Parsons, and good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us. Um, I'm the current president of the National Association of Aladdin Lamp Collectors Incorporated, and I'm also the webmaster for the club's website. And today, I'd like to share the history of the Mantle Lamp Company of America. They're the maker of the Aladdin lamp. We'll talk about the Mantle lamp from its inception to the present, and then we're going to back up and talk about Henry Helmer's Alloysite glass and electric lamps. So just to give you kind of a history, I started collecting Aladdin mantle lamps in 2009. And what got me going was seeing one of them in use. It was an eye-opening experience for me. The amount of light produced by this kerosene lamp was unbelievable. And in order to demonstrate this to you, I'm going to play a short video. It's produced by Crown Place Brands. They are the current owner of the Aladdin lamp brand. And the young woman demonstrating the lamp in the video is Lori Showalter. Now keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully this will work.
Hi, I'm Lori with Layman's, and today I'm going to talk to you about our Aladdin oil lamps. This is the Lincoln Drape model, but we do have many other varieties available as well, but they're all going to work the same way. So the difference between an Aladdin oil lamp and a standard oil lamp is going to be how the light is produced. So with a standard oil lamp, your light that you're getting is from the wick, but with an Aladdin lamp, your light is coming from the mantle, which is this piece right here. This is going to allow the brightness of the lamp to grow exponentially. It's going to be incandescing and very bright for you to read by. So these are great oil lamps to have handy when the power goes out or to have as your normal lightings. We're going to show you how to light your lamp. What you're going to do is you're going to take the top part off. So this is called the gallery. The gallery has your chimney and your mantle attached. What you're going to do is you're going to screw this off carefully and set it aside gently. So then you're going to turn your wick up just a little bit so you'll see your wick right here. And this is the part that you're going to light. And you'll notice that the flame is glowing blue. That's a signature of an Aladdin lamp, is that blue flame. And the reason it's turning blue is because of the flame spreader that's on the inside of the wick. It's feeding the wick with more oxygen, creating that blue hot flame. And that hot flame from the wick is then going to react with the mantle and cause it to glow. So you're going to set it down just gently and screw it into place. And you can turn your wick up just slightly and it should start to glow. And then you want to let it sit like this for about 10 to 20 minutes to let the entire lamp warm up gradually. You don't want your chimney to crack because of the temperature difference. You also just want every piece to warm up on its own gradually. And once you've hit that 10 to 20 minute mark, you can kind of test out your lamp to see if it's going to start to form black spots on the mantle or not. Then you know that you need to turn it back down a little bit. The Aladdin lamp actually has a large part in history to just changing the history of the way that lighting worked. Prior to the early 1900s, there were very dim oil lamps that couldn't light up the room as much as the Aladdin does. The Aladdin actually puts out enough light to equate to about 6 standard oil lamps. So with one lamp, you're getting a much brighter light. And so prior to the early 1900s, you couldn't really do anything when it was dark out. You came inside, you went to bed. With the Aladdin lamp, you could actually stay up past dark and you could read, you could quilt, do any activity that you would normally do in the daytime because of the extra light that you were getting. Another great benefit to having an Aladdin lamp in your home is the amount of heat that it produces. So if you do have a power outage in the middle of winter, not only do you get the light, but you're also going to get a significant heat source that's going to be able to heat up the room, keep you and your family warm. You can probably find any simple oil lamp at many of the big box stores that are out there, but at Layman's you can find all of the lamps and lanterns, plus all of the wicks, the chimneys, the globes, the mantles, the wire hangers, any parts that you might need, as well as the team members that are there to help you find the product that is right for you. These lamps and lanterns and many others are available on Laymans.com and anywhere Layman's products are sold. Let us help you take the next step on your journey to a simpler life.
Okay, just wanted to let you see exactly what a mantle lamp was. A lot of people have never seen them burn, and like I said, it impressed me enough to start collecting. So, in 1905, Victor Johnson, here shown on the left, who at the time was a bookkeeper and a salesman for the Iowa Soap Company of Burlington, Iowa, first saw the superior light produced by a German kerosene mantle lamp. He remembered the flickering yellow light that he studied by as a youth and recognized the potential for sales of mantle lamps in rural areas. 2 years later, he gave up his steady job to form the Western Lighting Company in Kansas City, Missouri. The company imported and sold the Practicus mantle lamp, shown here on the left, foreign-made mantles, and alcohol-burning lamps. Soon after the Practicus was introduced at Hardware Dealers Convention in Kansas City, Johnson moved the business to Chicago. In 1908, he changed the name to Mantle Lamp Company of America. In 1909, Johnson acquired the patent for a new lamp burner from Charles E. Worth. He was an assigner to Plume and Atwood Manufacturing Company. Earlier that same year, Johnson introduced the Aladdin lamp, model number 1, shown here on the right. He derived the name from the famous story of Aladdin and his wonderful lamp. The initial sales of the Aladdin were beyond all expectations. It was so much more efficient than other mantle lamps that it quickly made all other kerosene lamps obsolete. Shown here are the available configurations of the Model 1 Aladdin mantle lamp in 1909. You see they had the table lamp, the hanging lamps, shelf lamps, and the wall-mounted bracket lamp. From the Model 1 in 1909 through the Model 12 in 1928, Aladdin continually developed improved models through research and development. And during this time, the company produced several variations, including table lamps, shelf lamps, bracket lamps, and hanging lamps. Pictured on the left are the table lamps produced or sold by Aladdin. And pictured on the right are 6 different photos showing some of the more rare variations that Aladdin made and sold in limited amounts. Top left, the Model 6 with the ball shade. Middle top is the Model 2 parlor lamp with the 8-panel shade. Also have the double chandelier lamp on the bottom left. That was purchased from Canada West. And the narrow frame, and then the single chandelier. Like I say, they were all produced in limited numbers and are highly sought after by collectors. So the common characteristic of these metal lamps produced during this period was the requirement to have a center draft tube to supply combustion air to the center of the flame. This requirement prohibited the use of glass fonts. In 1926, the Mantle Lamp Company acquired the Lippincott Glass Company plant near Alexandria, Indiana. A new large modern factory was built on a 10-acre site. The company could now produce their own chimneys, shades, wicks, and mantles. Here are a few pictures of inside the factory. You can see the glass production lines, ladies working on the shades down at the bottom right. Little quality control going on in the upper right picture there. And here on the top left, you see the thread weaving into the wick machine to make the round wicks. Bottom center shows a fellow stretching the material over a mantle form prior to them being impregnated with the minerals. The first glass lamps produced by Aladdin were vase lamps. They came in 10 and 12-inch sizes and were sold between 1930 and 1935. They consisted of a hollow vase with an open bottom, a pot-type font made out of brass that was able to employ the Model 12 center draft burner for use in these lamps. The vase lamps were more expensive than the metal lamps, selling for $11.50 as compared to $7.50 for a nickel-plated table lamp. Shown here are examples of the 10-inch Model 12 vase lamps. These lamps were made of clear glass with the color fired on the inside of the vase. They were available in blue, green, ebony, red, orange, and peach. The color was either solid or variegated. Several of the colors received a crystalline or a straw-like pattern applied to the outer surface. The green and the ebony lamps in this photo exhibit that finish. In 1931, Walter Ing and Cortland Davis of the Mantle Lamp Company's Research and Development Department applied for U.S. patent number 1906254. This patent is very significant. It is for a blue flame side draft burner. With this innovation, the Mantle Lamp Company could now use fonts made of glass for their mantle lamps. significantly reducing the price of the lamps. Aladdin called this new burner design New Type. The new type Aladdin burners were introduced in 1932, starting with the Model A burner, a side draft burner capable of using a glass font. The company enjoyed its best years following this invention. You can see in the sales brochure from 1933 that Aladdin was now offering the glass lamps with the new type burners. The panel on the left and the panel on the right uh, show the Colonial and the Venetian lamps using the side draft burner. In this price list from 1933, you can see the significant price differences for the new glass lamps. A clear glass table lamp sold for $4.75, a nickel-plated brass table lamp for $6.30, and that Model 12 vase lamp for $8. That's a significant amount of money when you're talking about 1933. So the first new type burner placed into production was the Model A burner. This could be purchased with the Venetian lamp, which came in 4 colors and clear. The lamps are one piece, having the bowl fused to the foot. There's a two-piece version of the clear lamp, which was made in limited supply. Now, the Colonial lamp was the first lamp produced to use the Model B burner. They were produced in 1933. They also are one piece, having the bowl fused to the foot, which made them susceptible to cracking with temperature change, bumping, or stress. The Model B burner is still the burner of choice for those using their lamps for light, as it is the easiest to adjust and maintain. It was produced by Aladdin, or for Aladdin, by the Plume and Atwood Company until 1955, and that's when a flood destroyed the Plume and Atwood factory and all of the Model B tooling. These are the cathedral lamps. They were produced in 1934. These are the last lamps that Aladdin made by fusing the bowl and the foot together. The green moonstone version is of the lamp, varied greatly in color, and were sold either as apple green or jade green under the same model number. The Corinthian lamps were produced in 1935 and 1936. They're two-piece construction. They're glued at the joint with either a white metal or brass connector. So you see 8 different versions here and 7 different versions here. This shows the different styles of connectors for the Corinthian lamps. On the left is a solid brass. The two on the right are both made of white metal, but just a little bit different design. And they were painted or plated gold or brass color. Excuse me. The Majestic lamp was available in 3 glass bowl colors. Those are the 3 on the top left that came in white, rose, and green moonstone. The all-metal two-piece Oriental lamps were either painted, polished, plated, or a combination of both. And even though they were metal lamp, they used the Model B side draft burner on those metal lamps. The Beehive lamp was a one-piece construction. The white moonstone version is rare because it was never put into full production, and you have to watch out for some of these. The white people like to try to replicate. They'll take a clear beehive, which costs $50 maybe, and they'll etch it and call it white, which it isn't. The diamond quilt lamps and vertiques were made in 1937 and 1938 respectively. They were both of two-piece construction, and they both used that solid brass connector on all versions. Here, the top row is the queen lamp, a glass font screwed onto a metal foot. From left to right on the bottom row are the treasure all-metal lamps in chrome, bronze, and nickel. And the white lamp on the bottom row is the solitaire lamp. It was a limited production of 1,000 lamps made in 1938, available only in white moonstone. And all these lamps are still lamps that use the Model B burner. Shown here on the top row are the short Lincoln drapes in Allicite, amber, and 2 versions of ruby. The feet on the ruby lamps are slightly different, is the only difference. And on the bottom row are the tall Lincoln drapes in clear, Allicite, cobalt blue, and ruby. And both of these lamps have been reproduced. This is how I have my tall Lincoln drapes displayed at our home. These just happen to be my favorite table lamp design. And the reason I have two of the cobalt lamp is because the lamp on the right has a scallop design on the foot. That scalloped foot design is also available in the Alicite version of the lamp. These are the Washington drape lamps. They were produced from 1939 through 1953. They came in three different colors, amber, clear, and green, and four different stem designs. The ones pictured here, top row is the round base design, and on the bottom row is the filigree stem design. The same Washington drape lamps, only on the top row this time is the bell stem, and on the bottom row is the plain stem. The picture here are all clear, plain stem lamps with slight variations. From left to right, the first lamp is commonly called pink by collectors. Whether this was intentional or just a variation, we'll never know for sure, but this variation does command a premium price and is fairly rare. The lamp in the middle was produced in 1943 and has no filler. Reportedly, that was to save brass for the war effort. And then the last one is there only for comparison. Now here's a display of the four stem variations of the Washington drape lamp in green. Also, there's an additional green lamp in the back. It's plain stem, and it is called emerald green. It's just a little different variation in the color. And once again, that little variation commands a premium price. This picture demonstrates the wide variation in colors. These are all plain foot Washington drape lamps in either green or amber. And if you count, there are 15 different shades there. And as seen in the previous slide, there are variations in the tint of the clear lamps as well. The lamp on the top row on the left is called a Victoria lamp. This lamp is a porcelain china, white glazed with a decal. It was produced by the Metallic Arts Company of Mayfield, Kentucky for Aladdin in 1947, a very limited run. And then from left to right going on are the Simplicity lamps. They're the Decalomania, the Gold Luster, Alicite, and then dropping down to the bottom row is the pink, the green, and the white. As with much of the vintage glassware, some Aladdin designs have been reproduced. The four designs that have been reproduced are the short Lincoln drape, the tall Lincoln drape, the diamond quilt, and the vertique. They are all fairly easy to distinguish from originals, but you have to know what to look for. And as you can see on the slide, the short Lincoln drape was reproduced by the Aladdin Company itself starting in 1974. Then the tall Lincoln drape, there was an import company that started importing into the U.S. in 1977. And the diamond quilt and vertique both first appeared in the U.S. in 2002. And like I said, the short Lincoln drapes are reproduced by Aladdin and are marked on the base with the Aladdin name and the year of manufacture to distinguish them from originals. They've been made in amber, cobalt blue, red, pink, forest green, sapphire blue, blue moonstone, amethyst, clear, cranberry, red carnival, opal white, and Vaseline. And since they are two-piece glued construction, a variety of two-color combinations are also available. This slide shows another difference between the older and the newer versions of the short Lincoln drape. Notice the metal collar on the newer version on the left. So that's one way to tell old from new. In this slide from left to right, the first on the left is the 1980 version of the amber short Lincoln drape. In the middle is the 1939 version of the amber crystal short Lincoln drape. And on the right then is the 1939 amber opalique short Lincoln drape. And again, you can see that the two on the right don't have the metal collar on the outside. This photo shows the year molded into the foot of a newer short Lincoln drape, making it very easy to tell that it is a reproduction. And there's the word Aladdin also in that foot. Glass fonts were used in hanging lamps and wall brackets from 1939 to 1954. They were also sold as replacements or for tabletop use. They were available in white moonstone, allicite, green moonstone, and clear. The footed drape 0500 was produced in 1955 in limited numbers. They were produced in clear and allicite. Shown here is the allicite. Lincoln Drape shelf lamps were produced between 1975 and 2003. They were produced in clear, Vaseline, cobalt blue, carnival glass, amber, ruby, pink, sapphire blue, blue moonstone, white opal, and green moonstone. The latter two produced by and for the NAALC by Monster Glass. The white opal font on the right front was used as our annual lamp for the 34th annual gathering in 2006. Other contemporary font lamps produced by Aladdin include the ones shown on the next three slides. They are the Genie, produced between 1977 and 1988 in clear, the Genie 2, produced in a variety of colors, shown here in blue and red, and the Genie 3, also produced in a variety of colors. In 2011, Monster Glass of Cambridge, Ohio started reproducing the 0500 font lamp for NALC to use as annual gathering commemorative lamps. The word Aladdin is clearly embedded in the bottom of the lamp for easy identification. Also, we will never use the mold to produce lamps in the original two colors of Alicite and clear. Shown here are all of the colors produced thus far. This is a photo of the bottom of the new 0500 lamp, clearly identifying it as new production. Starting in 1994, Aladdin designed a line of new lamps that were made by Fenton. They are some of the most expensive ever sold by Aladdin, reflecting the quality of Fenton. The lamps are dated, numbered, and come with a matching shade. There were 7 different color combinations produced between 1994 and 2001. Shown on the left in this picture is the twilight blue, and on the right is the pink rosaline. Starting in 2017, the Victor S. Johnson Signature Series of table lamps with matching shades were produced by Monster Glass of Cambridge, Ohio. The shades were hand-painted at Variety Glass in West Virginia. These are all very limited editions and are numbered as well. The lamp shown here was produced in 2023 in Amber Carnival and commemorates the 50th annual gathering of the Aladdin Knights of the Mystic Light. So far, we've looked at Aladdin mantle lamps and most of its possible configurations from 1909 to the present. So now we're going to back up to the 1930s when the company started producing the glass lamps in kerosene as well as electric. So in 1935, Henry Helmers was hired and he completely changed Aladdin's lamp glass. Prior to coming to work for Aladdin, Henry worked in colored glass for Acro Agate, Westite, and Cambridge Glass Company, where he developed Crown Tuscan, Heather Bloom, Amethyst Mulberry, and Willow Blue. Henry made nearly all the colored glass during his time at Aladdin from 1935 to 1942. He perfected the existing moonstone, created opal lake, as well as the cobalt blue and ruby crystal lamps. In 1935, Aladdin introduced new colors of white, pink, and green moonstone. Helmers, along with chief designer Eugene Schwartz, shown here in the right picture, created a large variety of colors and forms for 7 of the most productive years in Aladdin history. Here are examples of the first electric lamps produced by Aladdin in 1930. In the photo on the left are the vase lamps, the form borrowed from their kerosene counterparts. On the right are the Vogue pedestal lamps. This is just a picture of some of the earlier electric table lamps, these produced in 1933. Notice the etched glass and paint on the inside of the two on the right. And all 4 of these were also produced in 1933, again, etched clear glass with paint on the inside. This is electric lamp advertising from 1934. Notice the expanding line of electric lamps and floor lamps. So they hit the ground running pretty much. It's 1935 catalog advertising electric lamps. Again, they're expanding their line. So on the left is the Cape Lady, and it was produced starting in 1935. This is one of the first of the figural lamps made by Aladdin, shown here in etched crystal on the left and opalique on the right. On the left is an advertising photo of the G20 table lamp, available in the new moonstone colors of glass created by Henry Helmers. On the right is an example of the Susie lamp, another one of Aladdin's figural lamps. This one was introduced in 1936. This slide shows the variety of colors available in 1937. The photo in the center top shows one of the pleated Whipple light shades that Aladdin was producing at this time. The double nude lamp on the left is highly sought after by collectors. It only appears in clear glass with some of the surface etched. The lamp on the right shows another of the colors now available, thanks to Henry Helmers. The lamp on the right is referred to as the tree trunk lamp. It's shown here in the new for 1938 opalique glass, once again created by Henry Helmers. These photos are showing the opalique glass again, amber on the left and another lamp in the green opalique on the right. Shown here is the G16 figurine lamp, or figurine. It can be found either as a figurine, as in this photo, or drilled and made into a lamp, which is more common. The G16 and the colors shown here are not readily available. They are believed to have been produced by the glassmakers for color reference only and were never available for purchase. And most of these colors are very rare. These are the two forms of the G16 that were produced to sell. The etched clear glass on the left and the new Alicite glass on the right. Alicite glass was first produced in 1939 and continued to be produced until 1952. Although similar to some of Helmer's previous glass, it is a different formulation. It was given the name Alicite by the sales department and was registered with a trademark. It's an ivory glass full of fire. The ivory color is the result of the addition of uranium to the glass. This gave the fire and the ability to fluoresce under a UVA, or black light. In 1943, as part of the war effort, the Manhattan Project specifically, the United States government banned the private use of uranium. Major color variations exist in Alicite after 1943 and continued until the last production in 1952. So Alicite did still continue to exist. It was just a different formulation. This is a 1939 catalog supplement put out by Aladdin, introducing the new Alicite glass. The 1940 Aladdin Electric catalog shows a wide variety of designs available, and almost all of them were available in Alicite. These are pages from the 1941 and 1942 Aladdin Electric catalogs. Again, almost all of the lamps are available in Alicite. Starting in 1940, Aladdin also started offering other products made of Alicite glass. They included all of the items shown on the next several slides. So you have the candle holders, the egg dish, the tissue box cover, and several versions of an ashtray. Here are the nut bowl upper left. The bottom left is a cigarette container with lid. Upper right is the candy dish and powder dish, both with lids, and then just a large serving bowl on the bottom right. On the left is a divided tray, and on the right is called an urn lamp. It's called the Dancing Lady's urn for a good reason. So sometime between 1940 and 1942, Aladdin tried to produce a crucifix using halloysite. Apparently, the process proved too difficult and was suspended. However, according to Martin Jones, who worked in the glass house at the time, there were 5 crucifixes successfully produced. This is one of those 5. This is how we display our halloysite collection at home, with and without the UVA black light. In 1950, Aladdin produced several Hopalong Cassidy themed items. Shown here are the bullet lamp, the bullet nightlight. The bullet nightlight is the one on the left. The holster and gun wall-mounted nightlight with original tag, I might add, and the topper horse head lamp with original shade. And this is the advertising for those items from 1950. As early as the 1920s, Aladdin had started producing vacuum bottles and lunch kits. In 1950, they started producing character lunch kits for kids, including the 2 Hopalong Cassidy kits here with their vacuum bottles. And these were the first themed kits that Aladdin sold, were the Hopalong. Henry Helmers produced one other glass while he worked for Aladdin. It's called Velvex, shown here in 5 different colors. The company produced very limited quantities of lamps and vases using the Velvex glass in 1935. Here's an assortment of the vases made of Velvex glass. Henry Helmers thought that this was one of his best creations, but it just didn't catch on like he thought that it should, and it was discontinued in the same year. And it is a beautiful glass, but you just don't hardly ever see it because it was so limited in production. So the last thing that I wanted to show you are the finials that Aladdin made. Many of the electric lamps required the use of a finial to hold the shade in place. These finials are also collectible, and the variations are numerous in style and color. Shown in the next 5 slides is a collection of finials amassed by Dr. Moody Jacobs and purchased by the National Association of Aladdin Lamp Collectors, Incorporated. It's one of the most complete collections of Aladdin finials known to exist. I'll step through this rather slowly. And I'll tell you that if it's other than white, it's probably worth a lot more money. The green and the pink are the most desirable colors. You can see several versions of those. I'll point out in the case on the left, the bottom right part of that case is called the Bride and Groom. It's made out of alloysite, and the groom had some black painting to show his tuxedo and his top hat. Like I say, the colored ones are the ones that are most valuable. So I want to thank Dean and West and the NDGA for allowing me this opportunity to share some of the history of Aladdin lamps. If you'd like to explore some more of the history of the lamp, you can go to our website at www.aladdincollectors.org. I've got something on there called the Document Library. There's advertising from 1909 forward. There's advertising photographs. There are some articles from Bill Corder out of the Mystic Light newsletter. So it's a real good resource and it's free to the public. So go there and just look around if you want to. The references that I use for this presentation are pictured here on the right, and also the Mystic Light newsletter that was published by J.W. Corder starting in 1973 and is currently still being published. Right now, the National Association of Lead and Lamp Collectors owns the newsletter. We just started publishing it ourselves last year as Bill got to where he just couldn't do it anymore. But anyway, that's my presentation.
Well, thank you. I find this very fascinating. Again, I'm that weird person that likes to collect things from one place, and since this was made in
Yep.
Indiana, I
Yep.
find it fascinating. So, I do have a question, and I don't know if you can get back. When you were
I
going through
can.
some of the other Alicite things, you had a piece next to this bowl,
Yeah.
and I don't know that I've ever seen that piece before.
Okay. So I'll tell you what that piece is. In the 50s, Aladdin started making ceramic lamps,
Okay.
really ugly ceramic lamps. And one of those forms was kind of a, I don't know exactly how to describe it, like a teardrop with an open center. And
Hmm.
at the bottom of that open center, a planter went. This is the planter that went in that opening.
Okay.
Why it
Okay.
was made out of alicite, I have no idea, but the lamp is ceramic and the planter is alicite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I've never seen it before, because
Yeah.
I just,
And usually what you see is the lamp and not the planter.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Huh. And the other ones, the pieces that I didn't see were the switch plates.
Yeah, I don't have switch plates. There's also a tile that was made in very limited numbers, like a bathroom tile. I've only seen one of those in person. Um, and there are some whimsies too. The employees after working hours would make stuff like bells. There's a couple of cowboy hats out there. Uh, just, something to use what glass was left over at the end of the day.
Hmm. Well, and like in those ashtrays on in the upper right-hand corner,
Yeah.
the one in the upper left-hand corner of that picture, I don't see that one very often.
It's fairly rare. It was produced to put on an actual cigarette stand, which I've never seen before.
Oh, okay.
That's what
Okay.
it's for. And then another thing about the ashtrays, the small one, you'll find it fairly often with advertising in it. This one is marked Alicite by Aladdin, but you'll also see it with the company's advertising in it, like they did with a lot of ashtrays back in those days. And then the upper right is called a coaster ashtray for obvious reasons. But you put your beer in the coaster and your cigarette in the ashtray.
Did they, okay, so did they always mark their pieces with Alicite by Aladdin or
No,
not? Because I couldn't find one on my tissue box cover.
yeah, there's not one on that. I think most everything else does have it. The
Okay.
nut dish doesn't. Um, let's see. I'm
See,
thinking.
my nut dish does.
Oh, okay. Well, mine doesn't. Huh.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I can tell you that the crucifix doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And how many did you say were made of those?
five. The
Okay.
uh, the fellow that was there, that Martin Jones that I talked about in the production, his great granddaughter. Wait a minute. Yeah, great granddaughter um, is a member of the club still. Her mother and father were too, but her name is Neela Teal, and uh, she gave me the story that her grandfather had given her, which was they just couldn't get them. I guess during the annealing process, maybe they had a lot of trouble with breakage, is my understanding. But they got five to work, and this one, you'll notice at the bottom, it's supposed to have a screw hole down there. Well, this alicite is so brittle that at some point, I don't know if somebody actually tried to put a screw in it or what, or if it just broke, but it's missing just a little bit off the bottom there. But since they're so rare, it really doesn't much matter.
I can think the arms would have been what, to me, the arms would have been what would have broken off.
Yeah, yeah, probably so. I'll tell you how I got this. Obviously my name's on the internet because it's on the website and all that. And I had a guy call me out of the clear blue, and he said, I don't know exactly how he put it, but he said something about Alicite, and then he said something about crucifix. And 5 minutes later, when I could talk again, I said, well, yeah, I'd like to come look at it. And so we ended up with it. But
Yeah, it's an interesting. Like I said, I have one. I have I have one lamp, official oil lamp. I've got several of the Alisite lamps,
Yeah, yeah,
electric lamps, and then I've
yep,
got lots of. I think what's more interesting to me are the other pieces. Not the lamp
right, right,
stuff.
yeah,
Because one I didn't see that you had was the wall pocket.
yeah. And I do have wall pockets, and well, if you look in, I can't remember where I put it. You can see in the photo there at the very bottom, I've also got the wall sconces. There were four of
Okay,
those made.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, and then the bookends, I don't think I showed those, did I?
yeah. You had a picture of the bookends.
Okay. All right.
You did.
Yeah.
So is it okay? So you mentioned something about the uranium being what?
So uranium
What
was
made
part of
it
the,
made it cause the fire?
yeah, they call it fire. When they molded this Alicite, and I'm sure your pieces show it too, along the edges or along where it's pressed into a mold,
Right.
where it's got maybe some thinning in it.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and when you look through it, I wouldn't call it fire, but
Right. I
uh,
know that's what they
yeah,
call it. It's
that's what
kind
they
of a
call it.
reddish cast to it.
Kind of. It can be, yeah. But like say 1943, they decided they needed all the uranium they could find to make a bomb, so
So any pieces made after that, do they show that
they don't glow.
they don't, well, I know they don't glow,
Yeah.
but do they show the
And
fire effect?
no, I couldn't say they have fire. In
Okay.
fact, I think the ones after 1943, after they got rid of the uranium, I think they look an awful lot like Crown Tuscan.
Okay.
Yeah, especially, I mean, some of them are really close because there's a kind of a pinkish cast to the
Mm-hmm.
the post-war Alicite, and like I say, some of it's just really hard to tell if it's Alicite or Crown Tuscan unless you know what form they actually made
Right.
with the Alicite.
Hmm. Okay. It's interesting. Well, again, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? I've kind of been asking all the questions here. Anybody else have any other questions?
Oh, here comes one, maybe. No,
I have a question.
Been a,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's been a very informative program. I've really enjoyed it.
thanks. Glad you liked it. As you can probably tell, I'm slightly passionate about the Aladdin lamp. The reason I showed the video was because I just couldn't myself. I tried to take pictures and try to get it to show exactly how much light one of these things puts out. But I figured I'd let the experts do it.
And that was my question is the video from layman's that
Yeah,
so the old ones from the 20s and 30s and 40s they all work like that.
yeah, yep. That's
Okay.
the same. It's the same basic design. Now, the burner that she had was called a, um, gosh, Max Bright, but it's the same basic design. It's the same principle. Um, so yeah, they all work the same. You take the gallery off, light the wick, put the gallery back on, and you have to warm them up for about 10 to 15 minutes. One one thing that a mantle lamp will do is if you if she had put that mantle or lit it, put the top back on and turned it up to full light, as the burner heats up, the kerosene vaporizes better and it gets hotter and hotter and hotter over the first 10, 15 minutes. And what it ends up doing is it will make the mantle turn black. It is burning so hot, it deposits, I guess, carbon on the outside of that mantle. And it's called a runaway. and it'll blacken up your chimney and it'll put a black spot on your ceiling. And so you have to be really careful when you first start an Aladdin lamp up and you don't want to walk away from them. You give it 10, 15 minutes to warm up at a really low setting, and then you gradually bring it up to full power.
Hmm.
And her replacement or the layman's replacement parts will work on these older lamps.
Yeah, it'll specify what they fit. Yeah. Just give you a little bit of history. The lamp division was sold back in the late 90s to a group of collectors who invested and bought the lamp company and changed it to the Mantle Lamp Company. I don't remember what they call it. Anyway, then back in the 2000s, Lehman's Hardware purchased Aladdin from that group of investors. And then Lehman's uh, started Crown Place Brands. And so then Aladdin went to Crown Place Brands, and then Lehman's got sold to another hardware company. Anyway, Crown Place Brands owns the Aladdin mantle lamp division now, as well as Furhand and Deutz and a few other. But Lehman's, uh, they're very interconnected, obviously, because that's where Crown Place Brand started, was Lehman's.
And are the lamps are still made in Kentucky now, right? Or is my mistaken?
So the lamps that have been made in recent years have all been made by Monster Glass in Cambridge.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah. The only ones, and before that, like short Lincoln drapes, a lot of those were made overseas.
okay.
The short Lincoln drapes, a lot of those were made overseas. But yeah.
So I'm gonna put Wesley on the spot here. Do you see many Aladdin lamps in Canada?
I would say we see more electric lamps than the kerosene ones,
Okay.
but I think I have seen kerosene ones around. Not something I collect, so I wouldn't notice it too much, but I do. Some of those shapes, particularly the drape shapes, look very familiar to me. So,
Oh, sorry, I had to back this all the way up. So in this picture, the double chandelier there at the bottom left, that came from Quebec. A guy, well, one of our collectors up there knew a guy that knew a guy and had this for sale, and he didn't want to ship it for obvious reasons. I think we've probably all had dealings with shipping, and I was the one that called him and told him that I would come get it, and so I
yeah,
drove to Quebec to purchase that lamp.
nice.
The uh, the center, the great big thing in the center is the tank, and you pull the top out of it, and it's got a ball float that when you turn it upside down, you fill it up with kerosene, and when you turn it back upright, the ball prevents leakage. Then you set it back down into the pot that stays attached to there, and the ball is picked up. Then the kerosene runs out those pipes to either side into the bottom of the burners.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
That's like I say, that was quite a find.
Hmm. So, and I don't typically do this, but so how much is a piece like that worth?
So I'll give you the high and the low. Several years ago, there was one of these for sale at during our annual gathering, which is convention. We have an all Aladdin auction where members of the club can put items for sale into an auction. So the club makes a little bit of money off of it, and then a member has an opportunity to sell to you know, to a collector. And one of these sold for $19,000. I didn't pay that much, but and on the low side, I know of one that sold for $7,000, but it had been messed up because it had been electrified. There is a way to electrify them and not mess them up, not drill holes or whatever, but this one had been drilled for some ungodly reason.
Hmm.
So that's quite a range, I know.
Okay, and in our email conversations back and forth, did I understand to say the club is working on a new price guide or
So it's done.
it's
The
done?
club, me, uh, went through the last price guide and updated the prices and published it 2 months ago.
Okay.
And it's available for purchase on the website, or you can send me a check. But yeah, that was quite an undertaking.
Okay. Yeah, I can imagine that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah. And everybody has a different idea, and no matter what you put, it's somebody's going to like it. So, but now I got input from 10 or 12 different collectors and dealers and tried to combine them with auction results and come up with new prices. But so far I haven't been cussed out, so
Hmm. Very, very interesting. I enjoyed today's presentation.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
So, any other questions? Do we
Yep.
have any show and tell that anybody wants to show off? I've got a few pieces that do have kind of an Aladdin connection.
Cool.
I've got some, but it's not anything near Aladdin.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start here. Again, because it was made, I'm a native Hoosier, so I collect anything. I've become very fascinated with Lippincott,
Hmm.
which that was the
Yep.
factory that Aladdin or the Mantle
Right.
Lamp Company purchased to start making their glass. So I have a small collection of Lippincott. Um, and there's some disagreements about some of it, and here's one piece. This is this actually the stem was made by the Fry Glass Company out of Pennsylvania, but it's got, and I don't know if I can get it to show very well here. It's got the Lippincott's Bird of Paradise etch on it.
Hmm.
So there's really kind of some, was it made by Fry and then did Lippincott do the decorating? Did the man who created the etch, did he work at Fry first? I don't really know. And people who probably know Fry better than I do would probably have something to say on that. But I do
Dean,
have, huh?
Dean, could we get him off of John's presentation so we can see you better?
Here,
Oh,
let me see. I
okay.
think I can probably stop sharing it here. Maybe I may lose the whole thing. We'll see. There you go.
Okay.
Look
All
at
right.
you.
So let me see. So
That's better.
here's the fry stem. Oh, not a great picture. Um, but that's the bird of paradise. That's probably the most well-known of the Lippincott etches. And like I said, like I said, that one is debatable on where it was made and how it came to be. This one is one that Lippincott did do. They did crystal bowls and then different colored stems. And again, this is, oh, I can think I can get this one a little bit better. This is the Bird of Paradise etch. So,
Hmm.
and I also came across some flat tumblers which they did make. And again, there's the bird of paradise etch on it. It's got two birds on a flower bowl, I guess you'd call it a basket, uh, in the middle. And then here's where it gets a little interesting. This is, I believe, let me get to it. I believe this is their regal etch. And I don't know. You can kind of see it. There's a basket of some kind with flowers in it, and then it's got a swag that goes up and down around it. Um, and the reason I say I believe it is the only real documentation that's been done with Lippincott has been in this book, The Great American Glass of the Roaring Twenties and the Depression Era by James Mazzell and Barry Wiggins. And they have catalog reprints that are really fairly small. So you almost really have to look at everything to see what it is and everything. And there are a number of different etches and cuttings and decorations in here, and that's it. And I did reach out to James Mazzell at one point in time, and he said that the catalog they used belonged to Barry Wiggins, and he had already passed away, and uh, anything that was left of his had been sold at auction. And so I don't know where that catalog ended up. I'd love to have that pop up so that we could see bigger pictures of things and know for sure. I suspect, like I said, I suspect this. Within 6 months of moving from Houston to East Tennessee, I found a set of, there were about 20, 25 pieces, all similar design with this gold border at the top, an etch, and some of them were the bird of paradise and some of them were not. And the regal etch was the closest I could get, given with the quality of the picture that I could see in that book. So, you know, that's kind of my Lippincott collection. It's not a lot, but it's always kind of interesting. So that's my show and tell.
Interesting. Those are pretty, very pretty. Uh, I guess I'll go next, and I think I have a Bartlett Collins sugar that is very heavily silvered.
Huh.
And, it was sold with a Heisey syrup with the same silver, but it's definitely the syrup and not the creamer.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's very, very heavily done. And then sticking with Cambridge, got one of the later items, the American Beauty rose,
Okay.
and it's an engraving. And the last thing I found was a Heisey Waverly cigarette with the orchid etching on it. So those are recent finds.
Well, now that silvering is in wonderful condition.
It is. So is the sugar. I mean the syrup. There, it's got the same pattern, but it is just done in just immaculate.
Do you think I've heard that some companies used rhodium. Do you think it could be that as to why it stayed so nice?
I don't think so. I got it from a friend, and he said it was nearly black when he got it on
Oh,
both of
okay.
them.
Okay. Okay.
And it took him a while to clean it up, but he cleaned it up wonderfully.
Can I go next?
Yeah.
The Thank you, John, for that presentation. I thought that was really interesting. Is he yeah,
Welcome.
he's still here. It was interesting to me on two fronts. One, I want to get an oil lamp because for emergencies, and so
Yeah.
it may as well be an antique cool one from Aladdin.
Yeah.
And number two, I went to college in Anderson, Indiana, which is right outside Alexandria.
Sure. Yeah.
So
No, right where it is.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I know all about that area.
Yeah.
My piece is I've been collecting this Heisey in Moongleam, twist in Moongleam. And so I ran across a pretty unusual piece. This is a utility or service plate. It's 10 inches and it's footed. It has 4 feet. And it was only made in the Moongleam color, not in the other Heisey colors like Sahara. But I was lucky to find that, and I I snapped it right up. I usually don't buy anything that's got even a little chip. The older I get, I don't like to do that. But this one had a little chippy out of the one of the feet. But I thought, oh heck, I'm going to buy it anyway. But I thought it'll be a really good piece because it'll be something you could put like on the table. You could put candles in it. You could put holiday stuff. You could use it for serving. But I was happy to get that for my new Moon Gleam Twist Heisey collection.
That has feet like the Cambridge Caprice cake plates.
Ooh, okay.
So instead of the center pedestal, it's got the 4 feet on the toward the
Yeah,
outside.
interesting.
Wesley, any show and tell?
Here, I'll share
Yeah.
one more thing,
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
even though I already took up all my time. I think it'll get on me here. Can you see this?
oh,
Yeah.
Ooh.
yeah.
Very
So
nice.
in the same time frame that they were making the vase lamps, this is called a Florentine, and it also used that number 12 pot, and it's open all the way through so that it could get the combustion air through the center of that pot. But this is called Florentine. There's 3 colors of it. There's white, pink, and green. And unfortunately, a lot of people, these were painted on the inside to enhance that green color. And you very rarely find the original green paint or the original paint in any of them because it washes right out. So people will plug up the bottom, wash out, and put their plants in it. Anyway, Florentine.
So I have a lamp. It's not Aladdin, but I did find it this summer.
It's pretty.
It's the hex optic pattern from Jeanette, and I understand these were made in the 50s actually. It
Hmm.
was like a later version. But yeah, I saw it at it was a charity sale where you could name your own price. So I felt a little bit guilty, but I paid $25 for it.
Hmm. Nice.
So
So
Dee, did
that's
you find anything at your show?
Well, I do have an Aladdin lamp, but I didn't carry it out here to show people. It probably was in the 30s or late 20s that it was produced. Um, it was my mom's or came from that side of the family. I don't know how long ago. So.
And I'm sorry, Wesley, did I cut you off? Did you have something else?
No,
No,
that's all.
no, that was
Oh,
all.
okay. Okay. All right. Well, I again, John, thank you. I found today's very interesting.
You're welcome, Dean, and thank you for asking. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. All
And
right.
I'll add one more thing.
Yeah.
Since you're in Indiana, anybody that gets to Anderson, Indiana, we have a museum display at the Madison County Historical Society in downtown Anderson. It's on the second floor. We've got 12 display cases up there that's been there for 3 years now. But if you're ever in Anderson, go take a look.
Okay. Okay. I didn't realize that. That's
Yeah,
another glass museum for me to check out then.
there you go.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, then if nobody else has anything, I'm going to say this was a great meeting. I am going to go ahead and stop the recording and